In the tech world, how you say something is often just as important as what you say. Today, we're building your professional communication toolkit. We're going to master the specific words that will totally transform how you ask for help, give advice, and work with your team. Just take a look at these two requests. On the left, you've got this blunt command, but on the right, a professional request. And the one on the right isn't just nicer, it's way more effective, right? It encourages teamwork instead of creating friction. That tiny change in wording is exactly what we're going to master today. So what's the secret sauce here? Well, it's a special set of words called modal verbs. Honestly, you should think of them less as boring grammar rules and more like precision tools for your professional tone. They let you express things like politeness, permission, advice, and necessity with some incredible nuance. So why is this so critical in tech? Well, think about your average day. You're constantly asking for code reviews. You're suggesting actions in a planning meeting. Maybe you're giving advice to a junior dev. As you can see right here, modals are the absolute key to handling all these moments like a pro. So here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with making polite requests, then we'll jump into expressing rules. After that, giving advice, and we'll wrap up with setting expectations and making suggestions. Ready? Let's get started. Okay, let's dive into the core rule. And the best part is, it's beautifully simple. You just take your modal verb, like must or should, and you follow it with the basic, simple form of the main verb. No S, no ing, no funny business. Just must save, should test. It's really that straightforward. First up in our toolkit, the art of the polite request. This is all about how to ask for permission and help in a way that actually builds positive team dynamics instead of, just bossing people around. So when you're asking permission for yourself, your choice of modal is a strategic move. It really sets the tone. May I join the client meeting? That's pretty polite and formal. Could I use your laptop for the demo? Is just as polite, but feels a lot more natural in a day-to-day conversation. And then you have, can I use the test server now? Which is much more informal. Perfect for a quick chat with a teammate you know well. The same idea applies when you're asking someone else to do something. Would you review this code, please? And could you restart the service? Are both really polite, really common. Will you update the spreadsheet? It's a bit more direct. And can you share the file link? Is definitely informal. Choosing the right one, it all depends on the situation and who you're talking to. Now let's check out a super powerful, extra polite phrase, would you mind? The trick here is just getting the pattern right. So when you're asking permission for yourself, you use the past tense. Would you mind if I shared my screen? But when you're asking someone else to do something, you use the ing form. Would you mind checking the backup log? See the difference? And this right here, this is a classic trap. You have to watch out for this one. When someone replies, no, not at all, it can be super confusing, but they are not saying no to your request. What they're saying is, no, I do not mind. It's a green light. It means, yes, go for it. All right, let's shift gears. We're moving from polite requests to clear instructions. Our next set of tools is all about stating what's required and, just as importantly, what's absolutely forbidden. When you're talking about something that's necessary, you've got options. Must is really strong. It signals urgency or a strict rule, like users must reset their passwords. Have to is your everyday go-to for practical needs, like we have to restart the server tonight. And have got to is the more informal spoken version, like I've got to check the production logs. Okay, everybody pay very close attention here because this is absolutely critical. You don't have to restart the server, means it's optional. You can if you want, but it's not required. But you must not restart the server is a prohibition. It means do not do it. Seriously, mixing these two up in a tech environment can cause big, big problems. Next up in our toolkit is the language of advice. And this covers everything from a gentle recommendation all the way to a strong warning about potential disasters. So check out the scale of intensity here. Should is your standard for just good advice. You should back up your files. Ought to is pretty similar. But had better is way stronger. When you say you'd better save your work before restarting, you're basically saying that if they don't, something bad is probably going to happen. It's advice with a warning label attached. So what about when things have already gone wrong? Well, to analyze past mistakes, we use should have plus the past participle. This is the language of lessons learned, and it's perfect for looking back on a missed opportunity or something that, really should have been done differently.
And you see this kind of thing all the time in tech retrospectives and postmortems. When you're figuring out what went wrong, it often involves statements just like this one. I should not have ignored that warning message. It's a huge part of learning from our mistakes.
Okay, for our final section, let's look at the modals we use for planning and teamwork. These are the tools for managing expectations and making suggestions that everyone can get on board with. Be supposed to is so useful for talking about what's expected. It works for scheduled events, like a webinar's start time. It works for duties, like a developer's responsibilities. And it's also perfect for talking about when things don't go as planned, when something was supposed to happen, but it didn't. Now, when it's time to brainstorm with the team, these phrases are your best friends. They're inclusive, they're collaborative. Let's review the logs. Why don't we check the database? And shall I share my screen? These are all fantastic ways to propose a next step without sounding demanding. And here is one more vital distinction you need to know. When you say, we could use a cloud server, you're just presenting one of several possibilities. It's an option on the table. But when you say, we should fix the bug first, you are making a recommendation. You're saying, hey, I think this is the best course of action. So let's do a super quick recap. From making a polite request with could you, to stating a strict rule with must not, and from giving a strong warning with had better, to managing expectations with is supposed to, we have covered some absolutely essential tools for your professional communication toolkit. And that brings us to the final and most important question. Looking at this whole toolkit, which one of these tools will you actively try to use this week? Think about your next meeting, your next code review, your next email. Just choosing one of these to focus on can make a huge difference in how effective you are.